ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
Welcome into the Thursday, June 16th edition. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a special show today. It's always great to get a personal visit from the athletic director of Marshall University. Christian Spears is in studio with us, and we got a lot to talk about today as it was, a busy day for you. Just a few items in herd athletics that we could probably talk about. I mean, I know... nothing really major happened today. Just baseball park, video board.
Is that your really crafty way of talking about the special session that got announced?
Special session? Is there a special session coming up? I mean, about the baseball park? Is that something?
There was an announcement today by our Board of Governors that we will be holding a special session to, specifically talk about the baseball stadium. It'll be in a week. And some really good information is going to come from that, I hope. And our board is incredibly prepared to do something great here at Marshall. They are. And the people that serve on that board hold you accountable, think about things from a larger context, want to hold you accountable on cost, want to hold you accountable to make sure the impact that we make with this stadium benefits this community. So they're going to do their due diligence. And Brad and I are going to present them with a plan, and we're going to hope that they approve it. And I'm excited that they called that special session.
What can we talk about today with the ballpark? What's out there that we can get into? And I know you've got to hold some things back for next week.
Everything will come out on Friday, and I think we're going to be better for it, having waited for that timeline and that time frame. So let us do some work there and present a tremendous plan to the board, and I'm confident they'll make a great decision.
Okay, so we'll have you back sooner than later to talk about the baseball park. I know that's on.
I'll be here.
Okay, that's on a lot of people's minds. But there's some other things that came out today as far as what was talked about. There's a lot of numbers going out, so we'll get into the ballpark numbers next time when we have you back on after that special session. But I'm sure the first thing we've got to talk about either upgrades to Jones C. Edwards Stadium, video boards, or facilities. I mean, where we want to go first here, because what does $9 million in bathroom renovations really get me?
I've gotten that question from multiple people after that meeting today. Why does it cost $9 million for a bathroom, right? And then I think of, folks and friends that have renovated their own bathrooms in their own homes. And I think, for a 40,000-seat stadium, $9 million in bathrooms, that's still trough style, might actually be the right price. So we'll look at that. We'll make some great decisions on it. It's a placeholder. It's an item that we wanted to make sure was on the list to review. There is a whole host of things that Marshall can do to improve the infrastructure on our campus. And so we've got to be great stewards to our resources. So we've got to review all those projects and make great decisions. And our board will help us do that. Obviously, the president will help us do that. And, I'm obviously going to advocate for things that improve our game day experience. And, as much as a bathroom is just a place where we stop off before we go back into the stands, it does need to have, some upgrades. And so we'll appropriately apply pressure at the right time when the financials are there and make a great decision to renovate.
Okay, so this isn't going to happen here over those next few months, or maybe it will. I don't know.
We'll see how it all shakes out, and so much of it is dependent on how we manage our funding and the sources of funding we do receive. So when those funds come in and those opportunities present themselves, we'll make a case. And there's a lot of things to make a case for, Paul.
Is that just specifically this placeholder for the bathrooms, or does this expand a little bit beyond that?
It's so many different things, right? There's locker rooms that haven't been touched in decades, and I'm somebody who does want to be equitable, right? I'm someone who wants to honor all student athletes, all students who participate in our sport programs, and if there's things that we can do to upgrade other facilities, swimming, tennis, I want to look at those just in the same light that we would our football and basketball opportunities. So let's give some deference to every single student athlete. Everything matters. And so everything needs to be reviewed, and we'll make great decisions and be good stewards.
Christian Spears is with me, Marshall's athletic director. So, beyond the bathroom question, there's concessions to talk about, concourse, everything we can possibly talk about here.
One more time on that?
Okay.
I was getting a call from a friend at the same time.
All right. No problem. Upgrades to other parts of the stadium, like concourse, the concessions, things of that nature. You talked about the experience. Coming to Jones C. Edwards Stadium should be a great experience, from watching the game to going to the bathroom to a great experience when you're sitting in line or standing in line and getting ready to maybe buy something to eat during halftime. Right. All of that is part of the experience.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I think about the bannering project that we have underway, the design that we have underway for that, trying to beautify the outside and the inside of our stadium. We know about the field going in, and we know about the expanded menu that we're trying to accomplish with our friends from Sodexo, and just give our fans a chance for different fare. About our augmentation of the beer sales and what we hope to do on the concourse with that area. About the party deck that eventually will come together. About the video boards that we're trying to add into the space and just be a little bit more user-friendly for game day fans. I think people know that I looked at building the biggest one in the country, right, for a whole host of self-esteem reasons, but also for the game day experience, and hopefully those things are going to come together quickly. But more than anything else, we need fans to show up, right? We need you to be physically present at the games. So then, if you're going to do that on our behalf, we have an obligation to make sure it's easy to get to and from the bathroom. It's easy to get around the concourses. You do have great food items to choose from. You can go grab a pop or a beer if you want one. And the lines are short, and we're staffed appropriately, and we make it easy to get in and out. And it's clean. So we're going to do those things as well.
You mentioned video boards. We have to talk about it because you want the biggest one in college athletics. Have you made that measurement yet? Have you gone around comparing? Where are you at on that?
We put together a little bit of a cost estimate. I haven't presented the full project to the board. I did put it on the list for review today. Everyone is aware of the price tag. And it wasn't just at football. We have this unbelievable soccer facility and this amazing program. And so they do deserve a video board instead of a clock and a scoreboard, right? And let's show some of these amazing replays. The Sun Belt Conference has an expectation that schools will be able to do replay at a really high level in everything. And, making or missing a call and having the ability to review it on TV and having multiple cameras there to do that, all good and needs to happen for television and for the integrity of the games. But then our fans who do what we ask them to do and show up, they should be able to see it too. Hey, what happened on that play? Hey, let's go watch the video board too, right? So the fans at home are getting a replay, so the fans in the stands should too. So we're going to work on that at softball when baseball gets built, at football. Certainly the CAM got a new board a couple years ago, and that's great. And then, of course, at soccer.
Now, this isn't the timetable isn't really established just yet. These are placeholder numbers. Maybe to clarify for a lot of people, $9 million for bathrooms, placeholder, $8 million for video boards.
That is correct, right? Timelines matter when you order, when you procure, the ability to negotiate for price points. So we tend to overestimate rather than underestimate, and I think we'll beat those numbers substantially. I think we'll do a better job and hold our partners accountable for a great number and get it installed and procured and ready to go, and at less than we identified.
Christian Spears is with me, the athletic director of Marshall University. We're going to take our first break. We'll come back. We've got plenty more for him. We'll get some of your phone calls and text in. Let's do text at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So for something that I haven't asked that you would like me to ask, we'll get them all in as soon as we possibly can. And also, we will get your phone calls in as well, 877-420-TALK. More coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Do you like the show and you want to make your own? Well, let me tell you about Anchor. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create. Now, Anchor is going to distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast. No minimum listenership needed. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition. The Drive continues on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're going to take some of your texts this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Marshall University Athletic Director Christian Spears is with me this afternoon. A busy day for him, going to be a busy week for him. We can't talk too much about baseball today. That's going to be next week. We have a lot of things we can talk about. Of course, there are some wish list items that we've touched on. And there's some other things you're getting done as well. We mentioned in plenty of talks we've had before, things like the Cam Anderson Center, trying to get things situated there. Today, locker room upgrades or renovations. I mean, even tennis courts. We're going to talk about that there. That's important, I'm sure, because you've got a quality tennis program, and I'm sure surfaces are really, it's maybe not as sexy as a video board, right, but that's important to John Mercer and his squad, just have a quality place to play, because they sort of have a standard they're trying to uphold and keep going.
Yeah, absolutely right. John and Robin have proven that they can recruit at a really high level, right? And a lot of people like to talk about, well, gosh, it seems like it's all international student athletes and there's not a ton of domestic students. And, but there's something special about bringing an international student into the classroom, right? And that dynamic, having them be successful on the courts or fields, and then, having them graduate from Marshall, and then what that means, nationally and internationally. So I love the fact that Chris Grassi recruits great international student athletes, and John and Robin recruit unbelievable female international student athletes. And the wear and tear that happens in West Virginia on a tennis court outside, what the heck is going on with the last 4 days, right? I feel like I'm melting, right? The humidity. Imagine what's happening right now on that court outside those last 4 days.
Cooking. It's cooking right now.
It's cooking. I feel like if I stepped on it, my shoe would be an imprint. But those need to be managed, right? And you need to take care of them at a high level, especially if you want to compete at the highest level in the Sun Belt. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
How much of this is coming from, these are things that the Sun Belt expects, and how much of this are things that you expect?
A lot of it, like we talked about before, if we're going to have the kind of championship program that we want to have, we have to make these kind of investments. The court has a wrap around it that says Conference USA, and we've talked about this. It can't say that anymore. It has to say the Sun Belt. The football field had a logo on it. It can't have that logo on it. The basketball court is in the Keys. Conference USA in both Keys. We've got to get a new court, which we've done. So those things are critical to our branding on television, our affiliation with the Sun Belt, the pride that we have in being in that league. And I'm telling you, they are going to honor Marshall. So let's honor them.
All right, do we have another Twitter poll coming out for what color the baseline is going to be for the basketball court? Are we doing that?
How much trouble would I get if I just told our fans that I took their feedback from football and I just applied it to basketball?
Okay.
And we're going to do something tremendous with that.
Okay.
And I got Coach D'Antoni and Coach Kemper to agree, and then Ari did too, right? And just knowing how hard that was, will I get any deference for that? Or do I need to go back out to the fans and say, here are 3 or 4 options. What do you guys think?
I think if Ari says this is what it's going to be, that's what it needs to be.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. Give Ari the ultimate decision-making process.
I mean, Kemper already knows with the pecking order.
Yeah.
It's Ari. He'll say Dan, then himself.
Yeah.
That trio.
Right.
But it's always Ari on top.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Just ask her. She'll tell you.
I showed it to Kennedy, one of our women's basketball student athletes that just finished up, and she loved it.
Okay.
So I told her, okay, if the fans don't like this, I'm going to tell them that you picked it. And then she kind of backed up a little bit. So then I got concerned. Did I make the right call here? So we'll push that out here soon.
Okay.
Chuck will get on me now, and he'll say, let's push that out on social media. I'll show the fans what we're talking about.
You're going to show me first, right?
Yeah. I got it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. I'll be seeing that, and nobody, I will not tell. NDA, do I need to sign that?
You don't. You just need to know that we're utilizing our marks and logos, the ones that we wear every day, right? So the M with the herd, that's our institutional mark. And, the Marshall script is important, and it's going to be visible. The thundering herd is who we are, and that's going to be on the court. And And the herd logo, the single herd logo, it is a secondary logo, and it's going to have a secondary placement. So those are the things that I want people to realize, that I want to sell merchandise, I want to brand us appropriately, and I want everyone to know that these are our marks and not have differential from that. And we tend to have a lot of that here, Paul.
Yes, I agree with that.
We have 7 or 8 different logos floating around, and we're still rolling with some Vault logos too. Logos that, we don't actually get the same amount of revenue from a licensing perspective, and that's not good for your brand.
So we'll see a more unified logo marketing plan here soon. I can't wait to see what the court looks like. I'm excited for that. I'll keep that under wraps until Chuck McGill allows that to be seen.
Yeah.
I don't want to make him mad.
No, I think he'll appreciate getting it out there. So maybe that's what we'll do. Let me talk to him after this meeting. Now you've got me wondering if I made the right decision there. So
okay.
I'm on it.
All right. Christian Spears, my guest, athletic director, Marshall University. So there's some more exciting things, I'm sure, right, for the Henderson Center, not just the floor. Everyone focuses on the floor. Yeah. That's the most visible thing. Yeah. And I was texting you last week or so, just talking about the end zone, and you're like, hey, this has got to pop. And so far, seeing what the photos look like, because if you look at football Twitter, you look at Doug Chapman, who is sort of the CNN of Marshall athletics these days, it looks like it pops already, and it's not even done.
Yeah. No, I kind of wish Doug had played basketball also when he was here, so we could start sharing some of the things that we're doing at the camp. He does such a great job for us on the football field. We met as an entire staff just the other day on the basketball court. There must have been 40 of us on the court. We set it up as if we had a game, and we made some decisions. We asked our entire team, where should the students be sat? Where should the band be located? How should we manage photography and media? What should we do with cheerleaders and dance team? I added 4 courtside tables, right? Those will be available for sale, coming soon, right?
Okay.
We asked Sodexo to serve patrons on the court. We're looking to expand beer sales in the CAM, and there's going to be some changes in basketball. And we met and had a great meeting with the entire team and got everyone's feedback, candid feedback, and made some decisions. And things are going to shift, all with the hope of building a game day atmosphere that people want to come to and give Tony and Ari and Danny a chance to win here, right? With a crowd that's engaged, with the band that's in the right spot, with the cheerleaders that are there, with fans on the court. And I think we're going to be better for it. I really do. And it was a great engagement for our team.
So can you outline specifically, let's start with the tables. What will that look like on court? Where will those be positioned?
Yeah, so both baselines, 2 tables at each corner. So one of the tables will be right next to, directly adjacent to where Danny is with the team. And same with the visiting team on the other side. And the other 2 will be on the other corners. And those 4 seats will be static tables with panels on them. We'll be able to sell the advertisement and sell the table. It'll pay for itself and then some, right? And those are usually good price points and TV visible. And, our kids know how to avoid running into them, and you don't see it happen very often in other games. It's an initiative I did at another school. It was really successful, and so I'm excited to bring it here at Marshall. And it does, maybe free up some new courtside seats. So I'll give right of first refusal to our courtside season ticket holders. Hey, we've got these great tables. Would you like to sit there? You've got great priority. You've been invested for a long time. They might say, yeah, I'll take the baseline table. And then that frees up a couple of courtsides for a new group of fans who want to experience what that's like here at Marshall. So I'm really excited about the initiative. 16 new spots, and I think people are going to get into it.
Also moving students around or keeping them in the same position, is that available? Are you able to share that yet?
Absolutely. I don't have a problem sharing it. Our team made a great decision, I thought. We're putting it underneath one of the baskets on the visiting sideline, and our students will be visible underneath that baskets. And, let's get to an end of game where free throws are on the line, and let's let our students impact the result, right? Or at least try and see if we can get them more engaged. They're in a corner, in a sliver behind our bench that never really felt right.
Right.
And our team asked if they could make the change, and our coaches agreed, and so we did it. It's going to impact a handful of season ticket holders. I will have personal conversations with each and every one of you and put you in a great location, I promise. And I know that you'll support the kind of atmosphere that our students deserve here. So thank you in advance, and that move is coming.
Okay, so underneath the porch, whatever you want to call the overlook from the top here, the students will be underneath that.
That is correct.
And above that will be me, right? Media section, or is that moving too?
You are actually moving into a suite.
What?
Yes.
Nice.
We are moving the media into the 2 corner suites. There's a room affectionately known as the birthday party room.
Okay.
But unfortunately, during COVID, we had no birthday parties, apparently. And that room has remained vacant. So we're going to repurpose that into the media room after a game. And I'm going to have our coaches go up there to address the media in a location that will be directly adjacent to where you're sitting. I'm also going to give you guys some drinks and some food.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I know. I'm going crazy.
That's crazy.
I am, right. So
right?
we deserve to honor our media. Our media deserves to be honored. And at every other place, a cup of water and a pretzel goes a long way. And so write your story, have a pretzel, drink some water, enjoy our game, and be directly connected to the place where you're going to interview the coaches after.
Okay, so we're going to be elevated.
You're going to be elevated.
Okay.
You're going to be elevated.
That's nice.
Yeah, it will be. I think it'll be. I think it'll resonate.
What other surprises do you have for us? While you're here,
right? We're going to move the band, right? And we had a great meeting with the band, asking them, give me exactly the number of students that you think you can have as our pep band at basketball and volleyball, and 35 to 45 was the number we got.
Okay.
Cash, I hope, is closer to 45, and then we'll just carve out that section. And there is something about the band and the game day atmosphere that they can bring, and when it's managed appropriately and it's timed appropriately, it can impact a game as well. And so I want to give our band the chance to do that, our students a chance to perform, and our student athletes a chance to be inspired by it. So, and our fans a chance to enjoy it, right? It all connects. And a new location and playing out at somebody might help too, right? Rather than playing out at our team, which is what they've been doing in the corner that we've had them in. So we're going to adjust that a bit, and I think we're going to be better for it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right behind the visiting bench.
It won't be right behind, but it'll be darn close, right? Gosh love sportsmanship. They have rules about how many sections away the band has to be.
I understand,
and a true sports person, and we're going to have them in that section, just one removed per guidelines.
Christian Spears is with me, the athletic director of Marshall University. How much time do I have with you?
Whatever you need.
Okay, so we'll take another break, come back. When we continue, I want to ask you about how Marshall became the darling of Sunbelt meetings. We'll do that when we continue with this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had some experience, but you might have a question or two, like, how do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen to podcasts with? And how do I make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of those questions is really simple. It's called Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and it's easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid the podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Thursday, June 16th edition. Your drive continues on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I've got Christian Spears, the athletic director, Marshall University, visiting with us. A lot of items going on. We saw some of that today in the Board of Governors meeting. We'll see some more of that next week. And there's some things that are going on that maybe Herd fans don't know about. But before we get into that, I want to know, what was it about you or Marshall or the presentation, the team, what was it that made Marshall the darlings of the Sun Belt? So when I saw that quote, I thought, okay, that seems on point and on brand here so far.
I'm going to get in trouble maybe one of these days with the Sun Belt with just how transparent I am. Last week I told you, I think the Sun Belt is the SEC zero sugar.
Yes.
And a couple of people direct texted me on that one. Come on, man. And now I'm using phrases like we're the darling, right? And
making friends everywhere.
I think I am, right? And the fellow ADs from the other schools are, come on, Christian. Honestly, the way the football schedule came out just makes me feel so good about Marshall University and how the Sun Belt is going to promote us. 3 teams were in the top 25 last year out of the Sun Belt, and we're playing them all at home. And they're going to all be on TV, on national TV. And that is super rare for a school that joins the league for the very first time. You would think we would have to earn our way into those slots at home. We got preseason picked number 1 in football.
Coach Huff loves that.
Yeah, media, coaches, and the league. And, when you're a part of a conference, they'll say, well, the media picked this or the coaches picked this. But they know who picked what, and they cajole and convince, this might be the best team, and they want to be represented nationally, and so buy a brand for their league and promote them for success. So that is a tremendous sign that it's Marshall. Now we got to go do our part on the field, and I love what Coach Huff says about this. Coach Huff didn't get picked first. Marshall football didn't get picked first. Marshall got picked first, which means you got picked first, I got picked first, our fans got picked first. So we should be first in attendance. We should be first in ticket sales. We should be first in concessions, right? So let's try to do that. That's the expectation of the league, that we're that good. Let's be that good as a community. And if we do that, we might very well be number 1. So let's go and make that happen. So that is where we're the darling.
Christian Spears, my guest, athletic director, Marshall University. So you're the darling of the league. That means this is a league that it's fun to work with. How has this league been so far? You seem very positive, and it feels like there's a different vibe here. I can feel it. I'm not as connected as you are, and I feel there's a different vibe top to bottom as how this league is maintained, run, how it just works together.
Yeah, when you just focus on one thing only, how we treat our student athletes during a championship experience, if we just focus on that one concept, the Sun Belt is going to do a tremendous job helping our student athletes have an unbelievable championship experience. The number of teams that we're going to have in a championship experience, the locations we choose to host those championship experiences, the value that we place on individual programs, our ability to add affiliates. Have you taken a look at our soccer league?
Oh, it's tremendous.
It is outstanding, right? They are being progressive, and they will continue to be progressive and forward-thinking. Tremendous leadership at the top. Keith Gill is a true gentleman, someone who deeply cares about the student-athlete experience and is going for it with the Sun Belt. And you can tell by the 3 schools that he went out and recruited and got into this league. And, of course, Marshall being one of those. So I couldn't be happier about the direction we're going in the Sun Belt.
And you're getting swimming and diving in the league as well.
We're trying to find a home for our swimming and diving team, and the Sun Belt has some work to do there to get to the point where we have enough affiliates to host a Sun Belt conference in swimming. But until then, we're going to do everything we can to put Ian and our women's swimming and diving program in a position for success.
And that's a sport where you're not necessarily, you have to have a landing spot for a conference affiliation right away. It's structured so you can go out and have as many swim meets as you want. It's nice to have that conference championship to go after, but that's one of those sports where you're not going to hurt immediately for not having that affiliation.
Everything is based on how fast you swim. What are your marks in the pool? And they don't care where that pool is or against who it was against. They just want to know that you qualified, and if you do, you're representing us in a really high-profile meet, and that's something we want for our student athletes. So we're going to find an unbelievable place to do that in, but it really is, at the end of the day, about how fast our kids go.
All right, Twitter is a buzz here.
Okay.
Let's go video board here. This is from Twitter. Hey, the Herd AD. For us to have the largest video board in the country, we need to be around 8,500 square feet.
We're going to be just under that. The group that came in to do the sight lines have us at the 3rd largest video board. And the reason why is because the way our stands are configured and how close the video board is to the field. So in order for that corner section to be able to see it, we've got to build it to a certain width. Height is sort of irrelevant on this one, and we're going to end up with the third largest. So if we go with the plan that I'm trying to get approved by our Board of Governors, and then the funding enables the fundraising that we'll need to do to get it done, which I'm really confident we can do.
So this is happening this season.
It's not happening this season.
Okay,
we can't even procure. Even if I ordered it today, we couldn't procure it by the start of the season. It's one of those things that you got to plan a year in advance. So look for it in the fall of 23.
I know you probably in the back of your mind you've got other plans for that video board. I mean, we could have summer movies at Jones C. Edwards Stadium.
It changes the total community impact that stadium can make. Yeah, I love using it 6-7 times a year, but let's use it far more than that. I've got a lot of different iterations. That's why I want a deck. That's why I want a video board. That's why I want a new field. We can be more of a community impact than we are, and let's bring in some concert shows and events. Let's go for it. Like, that facility is unbelievable, and it's got a lot of history, and I think our fans will rally around it.
Christian Spears is with me. Okay, there's an item that you mentioned to me that you're open to talk about. This home is heard. What does that mean?
This home is heard, right? Everyone has seen a yard sign initiative. We've all seen them. We're going to do ours a little bit different. That is the tagline. This home is heard. There's going to be a QR that you get to scan. You're going to register your home as a This Home is Heard home. We're going to know where your address is. We're going to know who you are. We're going to know if you buy season tickets. We're going to know if you're a part of the Big Green. And then we're going to give you prizes. And we're going to come visit you. And we're going to have our coaches drop off their season tickets, or have a student athlete come with a gear package, or come and do an interview remotely with you, or provide you a really unique game day experience upgrade because you care so much about us that you're willing to put a sign out in front of your home that let us know that you're heard. And I'm excited about the This Home is Heard initiative and all the different things that we can do around it. You know, we have a lot of young people that work in college athletics, and this was a project that, I met with a group of 4 or 5 of our key young folks that help in our marketing and our tickets and our development and our corporate partnership space, and I asked them to come up with a plan and a model for this program. And man, they took it on, and they made it so much better than even the vision was. So I just so appreciate the young folks that we have working at Marshall Athletics, and I can't wait for this thing to launch because it came from them, and I think it'll resonate. I really do.
Now, this isn't limited just to the immediate area. No matter where your home's at, you can be a part of this, right?
You can pick up a sign at a bunch of different locations where whoever that corporate partner is that's still on the fence, you need to sign that deal, right? So get with that team that approached you about the opportunity and say yes to it so I can announce you on the radio right now. I could have done that anyway. And we'll mail you the sign if you're someplace else. You can come pick it up at multiple locations. So I can't wait for it to go live. We're targeting July 1st.
Okay.
That's our new academic year. We all in June 30th and start again July 1. So it's coming soon.
And this could be maybe something, if you're the furthest Herd fan away from Huntington, there could be something there as well.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely do a social media thing. Yeah. Register your home and let's see whose home is furthest away.
Right.
But you do have to show me the snapshot of your house, right? So, and I will locate that.
Okay,
yeah.
Geolocate. It could be in Alaska. It could be in Australia. It could be in Japan. It could be anywhere.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there'll definitely be a special prize for that one.
All right. I don't know if Coach Huff will be making that trip, though, if it's, like, say, Alaska, right?
Yeah, Chris Grassi might not be dropping off the season tickets for that one, but something good will come from it, for sure.
My guest is Christian Spears, Athletic Director at Marshall University. We'll take our final break, come back. We'll have plenty of time to talk to him. We'll get your comments in, and maybe I can pry some more secrets out of him. That's when we continue with this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We're taking Paul Swann everywhere. Download or subscribe to The Drive with Paul Swann on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget, if you did miss a portion of today's show, you can go back on Apple Podcast or Spotify. You can get today's show and share it with everybody. Maybe even Brad Smith, who maybe missed the show today. He goes back. I hear he's a fan of the podcast, so you should be as well. Welcome back to the Thursday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Marshall University Athletic Director Christian Spears is with me, and there's been a lot going on. I think we've covered most of it, but I think we need to talk a little bit about a staff member that's moving on, taking a new opportunity at Lamar University, and that's Jeff O'Malley. It's sort of bittersweet because you're happy that he gets this opportunity, but at the same time, he's someone that has been here so long. He's meant so much to the community. I'll just open the floor up to you on that because he's somebody who I think has a lot of respect, and a lot of people are excited. Even though he's leaving, they're excited that he's going to be the athletic director at Lamar.
Yeah, true leader, Jeff O'Malley, and finally has his opportunity to run his own shop. When you're an interim, you are the athletic director. So he spent 7 months making decisions, good decisions, got us into the Sun Belt. It managed a very difficult process. Here for 20 years, a number of projects that were done at a high level. Jeff teed up the baseball stadium too. When we get this thing across the finish line, Jeff's going to have his fingerprints all over it. There's 250 plus Division I programs in the country that play football. So that means there's 250 athletic directors and 250 presidents, and Jeff had an opportunity to go lead one of those. And I couldn't be more proud of him. He kept me informed all the way. He kept Brad informed all the way. He kept key members of our team informed all the way. He's got enough humility where he's able to seek advice and counsel and have candid feedback opportunities. Him and I talked at length about, his interview process. And, hey, what do you think, Christian? Here's what I'm thinking about doing. And now he's on his way to have his press conference. And we had a nice dialogue this morning before the board meeting on, how he was thinking about approaching it. When you have your first opportunity to be introduced to a community, you want that to go well. And he picked up on some themes that he recognized during his visit and articulated them at a high level to me. And I gave him a little bit of, how to tie it all together and in a frame that I thought would be effective. And he'll make that his. And just the fact that he was willing to do that with me speaks volumes about him and the kind of humility he has. So he's going to be an exceptional leader for Lamar. And he made me better in the 94 days we had together. And I'm going to miss him. And I know this community will miss him too.
So scheduling opportunities already. Have we talked about this just yet? Bring him in.
He wants more money for a game guarantee than he should be asking for. He's trying to get like the Marshall rate. Not going to happen. So Jeff, I know you're not listening, but when you do, you're going to get the traditional amount if we bring Lamar in for a game.
And no home and home. Just you're coming in, right? We're not coming back to you. We're not going to Texas.
No FBS program should be going to an FCS institution. That should not happen. So it will not happen here either. I will absolutely schedule them a home and home in basketball, though. We'll go to Houston. We'll go to Beaumont, and we'll bring them here. And let's get a couple W's while we're there. So we can have some fun teasing them about that, too.
I know that's probably the furthest thing from what you guys have talked about, but did it come up like, oh, hey, we should see each other now and then?
Yeah, not yet, but we will. Just because of the way the league is configured, we're not that far away when we go visit Texas State, and we'll have an opportunity to get to Texas in a bunch of different sports. And Jeff is always a part of this program, and he will be welcome back at our ribbon cutting. And excited for him to return to see that come to fruition.
At the same time, how do you replace that institutional knowledge? That's a challenge for you now. Here's someone who, as you mentioned, 20 years of experience, and you've talked about that in the past. You value institutional knowledge. So where do you go now for that institutional knowledge?
Yeah, he really was embedded completely into our academic community. And it is a monumental loss to not have that wisdom and that candid advice. Thankfully, we have some other folks on our staff that are going to step up. Our SWA, Beatrice, has that same amount of time and that same institutional knowledge and those same relationships. And she brings a different lens to it and perspective. John Sutherland has done some amazing things with the Big Green and knows this community and can step in and help us. Teddy, his assistant, can do the same. There are folks on our team who will fill that gap. And I'm actually kind of excited for them to have that opportunity, to have a voice in our future. Not that Jeff dominated it by any means, but now we can call on others and ask for their help and guidance. And I know they're willing to step up and step in. So I'm excited for what this will do for our team.
Christian Spears is with me, Athletic Director, Marshall University. We got about 8 minutes left here. Is there anything that maybe I haven't touched on that you would like to talk about, or that maybe we need to get to while we have a few minutes?
One other thing, of note is David Steele's official retirement. It happened, and he was someone that is such a good steward and such a good person that he said, hey, let me stay involved until you find somebody who can take over for the work that I do. David Steele cannot be replaced, but we can go out and fill a position. And we were able to do that. So we've attracted an amazing person who's going to join our team. Her name is Deborah Broughton, and she's going to be super special for us. And she'll be our executive associate AD for championship planning and resources. She'll have all of the responsibilities of the CFO and sport administrative responsibilities and strategic planning responsibilities, and truly be a right hand and a left hand for the athletic director's office. So can't wait for her to be full go here with us. And when that happens, we're going to be really, really good here.
How important is that position to you as far as taking it to the next level, taking it to the next place? Because it feels like, well, at least for someone who's been here so long, that maybe there's a whole world of fandom out there that you can just tap into, and it just needs, maybe a little push here, a little tweak there to make those people feel engaged, get more of them coming in, supporting the program. I mean, you have an entire group of fans that doesn't matter if they're in West Virginia or all over the place,
right,
that just crave that connection. So what are you looking for in that position? How important is that for you?
Just like you mentioned how important institutional knowledge is, the flip side of that is just as important. Someone who has seen other things done in a different way that might actually augment the experience that we can have here at Marshall, because they've seen it done differently, they've seen it be successful, and they bring a new idea or a new initiative to our team. And just imagine when you combine those two things, someone who's been here a long time and knows what works in this community, and someone who has a fresh new perspective, and we marry those, and we end up in a situation where our fans benefit from it, our teams benefit from it, and we win more, which is only going to connect us even further. So I'm truly excited for that as well. Those fresh ideas, those different perspectives, even reviewing what we've been doing from a new lens is just as critical and important. So Deborah will bring all of that, and our programs will be better for it.
And I think that's the vibe I've always gotten from you is, you're not coming in here and saying, okay, this is how you do it. This is what we're doing, like it or not. It's, okay, here's what we're doing. What are we doing that we can do better? What are we doing that maybe we, need to not do anymore? And what can we bring in that's new? And at the same time, it doesn't feel like you've got your thumb on everybody, just like, okay, I'm the athletic director, let's do it this way. Hope you guys like it because I'm the guy in charge.
Right. No, you cannot do this thing alone. That tends to actually have counterproductivity when you treat it that way. I do something I like to do quite a bit, which is what can you keep? I talk a lot about that with our team. Hey, tell me what's working great, and let's keep doing that. And then when I approach them with something new and different that we might want to change, they're a lot more willing to implement it because I took the time to listen to what they had to say about what's been working well. It's a simple initiative, but a lot of people don't do that. Most people just come into a new place, change.
Right.
I tend to come in first with keep, and then augment and make better.
I guess one thing maybe we haven't touched on, maybe it's exciting at the same time. You've talked about who's responsible for this and that when it comes to all the coaching staffs, and we have an addition, Marshall basketball staff. We had him in here last week. Adam Williams is joining the staff. He's got such a pedigree as far as connected to the institution, but yet at the same time he's been away and now he's back. How excited were you when that hire was made?
It fits right in line with what we talk about as a team all the time. And when we hire somebody, ideally you want someone who's connected to the place, right? Really knows our community, really understands who we are, and wants to be a part of this place. Ideally you find someone who's connected to people that really genuinely know the folks that are in our community, on our program, a part of our staff. You want to know that they have a sincere passion for everything that they're doing. And they understand the purpose behind all the things that they're doing, promoting our student athlete experience, having something that is tangible and viable long-term. Adam brings every single element. It is rare when you get to bring in somebody who has all 4 things that we look for. So I couldn't be more happy with Danny's decision. I had a great conversation with him and his family, and they're going to be amazing ambassadors for Marshall. And I think they're going to help us win ball games too.
My guest, the athletic director of Marshall University, Christian Spears. I can't believe this. We actually have maybe 3 or 4 minutes before we're done with the show. I feel like we've gotten so much in. Is there that one more thing moment that we have for us? Can you drop one more thing, or you got to wait?
One more thing of knowledge. You know, we talk about all the things that we want in people when we hire them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to tell people and remind people it's the same reason that we look for reasons to move on from folks. And, you know, I'm going to share this at our head coaches retreat in a few weeks. You know, how do you evaluate? How do you assess? What are the criteria you're going to use? You know, when we talk about contract extensions and being a part of Marshall for the long term, the same reasons we hire someone, connection to a place, connection to a person, understand their purpose and have sincere passion, is the same reasons you can't be a part of what we're doing. When you don't connect to this community, when you don't find people that are important to you, when you don't know what your purpose is, and when you forget your passion, those are the reasons you're not going to make it here. And they're the same reasons you're going to make it here, which is so interesting when you really think about it. So I'm trying to get everyone on board. Connect to this community, connect to the people in it, know your purpose, and do it with passion. And if you look at our most successful coaches, man, they look just like that.
Christian Spears, athletic director of Marshall University. So after we're done here in the next couple of minutes, I get to see what the new court's going to look like. I will hold off on sharing what that looks like until Chuck McGill approves it. That guy is a workhorse.
He is.
I have to say, I can't say enough about him. He is a workhorse.
We talked a lot about championship pace when we started here. Chuck is embracing the new pace and working frantically to meet it, exceed it. So I'm really excited about him and what he's trying to put together for us, and he's building quite a good team as well. So he's got an open position too.
That's what I've heard.
Still trying to fill Jason's role. Has that nationally posted, and we've got some great candidates coming in for that role.
And you know the great thing about Jason, I hope that the next candidate is up to the task, is I still text Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone, but I'm still talking to him. So, you know, that means something, because it's not, hey, keep in touch, and then you never hear from the guy again. No.
Right.
Yes,
No, he's going to stay involved.
Yeah,
right?
still a part of my life.
Yeah, Jason had that connection to people. Jason had that connection to our community. Yeah, there's no doubt. So now we got to go find someone else who will do that as well. Did Chuck call you and ask you to participate in the interview process?
I messaged him because after Courier basically said, "Look, you're breaking news. You're on the committee."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what am I signed up for? He explained to me. So he's told me what the deal is, and I can't wait.
We did. We reached out to members of the media and said, "Hey, be a part of the interview process," and I will take your feedback, Paul. I will. Right. So tell me what you think of the folks that we bring in, and let's find someone who's going to serve all of our interest.
Looking forward to it. So you got business to take care of next week, a baseball park. Hopefully we can talk about that next week, and then we can talk about some more staff hirings, official notifications of here's who's working for us and all that. So that's coming up hopefully next week. I'm sure for you, the next thing to do here is to go find some air conditioning and get out of this crazy Huntington schizophrenic weather.
I'll be back next week with some great news, I hope. Thank you for having me on today.
That's Christian Spears, athletic director of Marshall University, for our producer. And again, I'm glad you wore all Marshall today. The Pittsburgh. That's all the kid wore.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
he knew we were coming back.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
oh, he still got the Steelers phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He was flashing the Pittsburgh Penguins jersey on me the other day just because I don't like the Penguins. He knew better. But good job today. We will be back tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W231BS Huntington, broadcasting from the Oscars Breakfast Burgers and Brew Studios. This is ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.